Well, that's 15 minutes I can't get back.
Hey guys, it's Matt. That brilliant filmmaking and what I'm about to show you, I stole from Ben at That City when the famous smashing of the glass down in the woods, which I hope Ben picked up because it was the woods. This was just my deck. You find the great directors, Francis Ford Coppola, Kubrick, Martin Scorsese, a lot of their ideas weren't original. They stole from movies from the 40s and 50s and 60s, and that's what I stole from Ben at That City. But guys, this video is about what you're about to see, the incredible movie making you're about to see over the next 6 minutes. If you just can't take it, skip ahead about 6 minutes. It's me trying to get calculator batteries in and out, which ended up taking, I believe, over 20 minutes. But it's not about that. It's about how reality is working to make the small tasks in life more difficult. And I mean literally what we experience today, in my opinion, is different from somebody changing calculator batteries in the 70s or 80s. And I'm not just talking about the design of a calculator. I'm talking about an entire reality that slowly works very subtly, imperceptibly, where it cannot be noticed, to make things more difficult, to make something that you've heard me allude to this. I've never made a full video on it, and I would like your comments to see if you're experiencing this as well. Guys, I guess it was a couple of videos back, somebody said, Matt, your ass must be running out of ideas, making shit up. No. If you ever catch me making up a damn video topic just to fill a slot, I don't do that. When reality, like I said, when reality is breaking down in front of your eyes, you don't have to make up, what am I going to do today? There's what won't I do today? There's millions of things to talk about. And look, am I going to push all my chips that reality itself is making the small tasks harder, and I'm 100% confident of this? No. But look, if you're Mandela affected, you don't see this stuff as a big deal. If things have changed in front of your eyes, you don't see this as a big deal. This topic is a stretch for some people. Oh, Matt, reality itself is changing. It's morphing itself, so the small tasks take longer. That ain't nothing but Chinese engineering, Matt. That ain't reality breaking down. That ain't nothing but bad Chinese engineering. No, what I recorded what I'm about to show you, again, if it's just not for you, it's about 5 or 6 minutes long. Oh, we just dropped the 11, I guess. Go to the end of it. But I really believe it's time to talk about this topic, where I don't think doing the small things, it was the same in the 70s or 80s or 90s as it is today. I'm not talking about bad engineering. I'm not even talking them plotting things. Matt, they plot in craft society, so you end up spending endless time on nonsense. Yes, that is possible. I'm talking about a small slide in terms of reality itself changing, like the plug thing, like 50-50, right? In the plug in the United States, one side's fat and one side's thin. Well, it should be 50-50, whether it goes in the first time or not, assuming you can't see exactly what you're doing. And most of the time, it's behind a couch or something you can't. Like I said before, it seems to be like between 60 to 70% of the time or something, I put it in and I have to try it the other way. This is a symptom of reality itself, in my opinion. It's time to make this video.
Well, that's 15 minutes I can't get back. While we're out here, I've got these carpenter bees. What the fuck else is going to happen? Look at this. It's not termites. Look at this. Carpenter bees. Hey guys, it's Matt. Hello. Guys, I report my observations. I don't care who thinks I'm crazy or not. Everything takes forever. Is this a change in reality itself? I don't know. But I've noticed this. Matt, you're just manifesting it. You think everything's going to take forever, so it does. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's that. We shifted Earth. This is Orion and not Sagittarius. Who knows? Mandela effect, fluid reality. But guys, this is ridiculous that everything takes forever. Okay, I have a calculator here, old as can be. I went to do some calculations and it's totally dead. And I hate the online Google calculator. And I looked in the back and what does it take? A double A? I'm like, oh, these damn things. These damn things. Whatever this is. So I finally got, what is it? 2032s, 3 volts, 2032s. These two were in here. It took me, I don't know, it took me 5 minutes to get them out. There was just a little tiny sliver and my knife didn't even fit down in there, and then I had to go get another tool. Okay, finally got the batteries out. Matt, well, they need to fit tighter. The calculator wouldn't work. Okay, fine. So, okay, here's my new Duracell 2032s. So I open them up and I work with them, and I literally cannot get them out of the plastic. This is going on 3 or 4 minutes. Can't do this, guys. If I bend this back and forth with both hands, I mean, I've tried everything with my hands. It will not come out. It will not come out. So this is 3 minutes on this. So then I'm going to have to cut very closely around the edges. An older woman in her 90s would just not be able to do this. I don't know how any older woman, with even undoing a spaghetti sauce jar, you have to bang it 42 times. I'm pretty strong. It takes me 42 bangs to open jars, and I'm not weak. I don't know any, I'm sorry to pick on a woman who's 80 something, how she could possibly manage. So now, I don't know, it's going to take me close to 10 minutes to replace 2 batteries. Call me retarded if you want. There's something going on with reality itself with this. Everything takes forever. All right, I didn't realize this. There's actually, I thought the plastic is on the back too. It's encased like some sort of controlled substance, like a pill. It's completely encased in plastic, even though I've cut it to this degree. So I don't know what you have to do. I'm trying to make sure you guys can see this. You just have to cut right to the edge of the battery. I mean, come on. It's a freaking piece of... Then, okay, you can open it up. I guarantee it's not going to open right up. I'm not weak. It will not open right up. You got to go now, cut it along the top. Oh, and then you got to peel it back, which was not. Oh, there it is. Like it's the most critical part to a nuclear reactor or something. They have it packed that way. Just they do this to piss us off, guys. Or reality itself does. Who the fuck knows? What? Believe I'm getting upset at changing batteries? You can't make this up. It should just pop right in, right? Well, it's not in flushly, trust me, and it's stuck. It's not in flush, and it's stuck. So I've got to go get the knife and pop it back out. It just should pop right back, pop right in, right? I'm not making this shit up. I don't know if you can see that. It's like a tiny way out. It won't come out, and it won't go in. I've got to start all over again. Okay, you got to pop them in hard. I mean, really hard. I pushed down almost as hard as I could, and then they finally popped in. Now get this. I had no idea what was going to happen here, guys. This calculator's been sitting dead for years. Now, I just told myself, because I'm making this video and everything, I swear I didn't plan this. I said, it's not going to work. After all this, it's not going to work. So, what you get is, I don't know if you can see that. After all that, new batteries, you get a little tiny dash on the left. I don't know if you can see that. You get a little tiny dash. That's all you get. That little dash. Now that maybe there it goes away. Maybe I turned it off. Let me turn it back on. I don't even get there it is. I get a little dash. Now if that little dash is useful and important to some people, it's not to me. So here's what's going to happen. I'm going to take the batteries out because they're brand new. That'll take 10 more minutes. Okay, there's a tiny, tiny little gap to get these batteries out. I mean, no knife could fit in that little gap. I got the other ones. The other batteries were dead. I knew that, and I just really jammed a knife hard. I didn't care about damaging the batteries. But these are brand new, and I can't get them out. I can't get them out gently with a knife. They give you something. NASA may not have any sort of a tool that could fit in that, what is it, 1 micrometer? So I have to get this. I have to try to work with this. I'll report back to you in 5 minutes, see how we're doing. Probably 3 minutes later, one has come out with a knife. You can see I've scratched the hell out of this one. This didn't work, and I actually stuck myself with it. The knife, there's nowhere to put the knife, and this one, I'm pushing 15 minutes on this, and the thing's broken. Okay, 1 minute later, I got it with the knife. That didn't work. Am I bleeding here? I stuck myself. No. Such a micro stick. It's not bleeding. Well, that's 15 minutes I can't get back.
This is the current Dell computer commercial that's running over, all big TV shows and sporting events running right now. And of course, you know why I'm highlighting it. And I'm re-recording this section. At first, I'm like, not related to the reality conversation I'd like to have going forward. Not related, but did you see the magenta presentation in the new Dell commercial? But then somebody screaming out, I can hear you. That's why I'm re-recording. Could absolutely be related. I mean, let's just do 1 minute on this. Okay, if this is part of the magenta presentation, and we'll continue to talk about it. If you didn't see the prior videos, we'll talk about it, I'm sure, a lot over the next few months. Why would, this is just a 4 or 5, 3, maybe 3 second part of the Dell computer commercial where people are whistling and it says Dell Technologies do more incredible things. Like, Dell do more incredible things? Like try to move an entire population of real people into a digital environment so they lose all sense of self? Like that, Michael Dell? But why would you do this? I mean, 30 more seconds on this. The entire lab is magenta. Every instrument in this 3 second scene or whatever is magenta. The lab coats reflect magenta. So the entire lab is going to the only way everything could reflect the magenta is if the entire lab is lit in magenta lighting. Why would you do that for just a few second clip in a commercial? Are you going to tell me Matt, the real lab at Dell is in all magenta lighting? Well, what would that be all about? No. It's like, how does this even happen? So the director, we need a 3 or 4 second clip of the lab as part of this commercial. Make sure it's like, what was Chris Rock's character's name in Jay and Silent Bob? Strike Back. George Lucas gonna sue somebody. Chaka Luther King. His name was Chaka Luther King. Don't get mad at me. That's what Chris Rock's name was in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. So Chaka Luther King would be like, did you put in the magenta lighting for the 3 second lab part of this commercial like I asked? Well, yes, we did, Chaka Luther King, but why do you want the entire lab filmed in the magenta? The real Dell lab isn't like this. Just shut up. Remember how nasty Chaka Luther King was to Jay and Silent Bob? Regarding what I said earlier, no, this will be the last image. I had to stop with the magenta image. I don't think it would be good to have thousands of people staring at the magenta for 15 or 20 minutes. So we'll limit the magenta. But Matt, this is the emerald green. But the emerald green is hijacked, but in my opinion, it can be very good. It's very natural, unless it's hijacked by creeps. So there's no reason I'm showing this other than it's the movie poster for the 13th floor. I need to see it again. I forget really what happens, but I do remember when you come to the edges of the reality, it just completely starts to break down into code and into the digital at the edges of reality. So I definitely need to see this again. It's basically, we're not quite there yet, almost. We're not quite at the edges, but our reality's breaking down every time we go out to get a hot dog. Something bizarre happens. I mean, I literally do nothing. I interact with almost nobody. And if I just go do one little thing, something weird will happen. So I'm not joking, or I'll have some weird experience. I'll talk about, like, the last time I came out of the Target, there was this hawk just soaring the updrafts of the heat coming off the parking lot, not even flapping, soaring without flapping for I don't know how long. And I was just looking up at it. Of course, everyone's looking down at their damn phones. Nobody would dare look up at a piece of nature. And I said, I do this a lot, saying, anybody believes that what they call the human being is the top of the food chain or the highest, most advanced thing here in this reality. They're out to lunch. Here's a thing that can literally soar up there, and we think we're superior to it. I mean, you want to talk about laughable. All right, let me pose the main question again and then finally stick to the point. I don't think there's anybody here that's listening to this anywhere in the classroom that would argue with this statement that whatever the creeps can control, whatever normal means they have available, they want our lives to be filled with nothing but distraction, busyness, all that jazz, and all that distracts. I mean, everything they can do that they're consciously aware of from an in on it perspective, nobody here would argue that the creeps want us busier and busier as much as possible. Oh, the invention of email doesn't save anybody any time. Created 1,000 more things to do per day. It's always posited the technology that it will simplify, and it always ends up doing 10 times the opposite. Nobody would disagree. Where we may disagree is this whacked out statement. The back of the Amish classroom doesn't even know what they're hearing right now. They're loading up spitballs saying, yeah, the second part of that, Matt, what you alluded to earlier, you crazy son of a bitch, that reality itself is somehow morphing, like you Mandela affected crazy sons of bitches, is some reality itself or the dark part or the screen part in some ways affecting reality itself. So things in 2015 and then 2025 and then 2035 are going to take longer and be more frustrating than basically the same task in the 70s and the 80s. And, it might be creeps pulling buttons and levers, but ultimately it reflects or manifests as, without any better words to describe it, because we ultimately don't know the mechanism, reality itself is evolving into this or devolving into this so slowly and so incrementally that we don't notice. Now, to a Mandela affected person or a lot of the old guard, Matt, stop talking for the old guard and the Jedis. They'll let me have it if I'm talking for them and I think they'll agree. Trust me, they'll send me a personal email. Say, Matt, I'm old guard, and I'll know the people. Say, don't put words in my mouth. They'll give it to me if I'm getting it wrong. Whenever I'm talking for the old guard or the Jedis, I almost never get it wrong because we're all in the same 100 monkey ship together. We all see the same things at about the same time. The old guard would be like, yeah, Matt, what you're proposing is not a big deal. Half of them are Mandela effect. They've seen reality completely break down. Australia, now somebody can almost swim to Papua New Guinea. Almost swim to Papua New Guinea. To these people, they're like, Matt, stop apologizing. This is not as crazy as you would think. The back of the Amish classroom, you're like, Matt, come on, man. The back of the Amish classroom's like, you're running out of shit to talk about, making this shit up. They can't see it. Where they can't ever see it as a manifestation of reality itself. And what exactly does that mean? We don't know, but it means there's something going on, obviously, behind at the screen level, at the game board level. Does anybody really think CERN is out to smash particles so they could get a better Polaroid of how the universe was formed? I mean, what a bunch of horseshit, nonsense bullshit that is. Who knows what CERN is doing? We'll do a whole nother video on that. Let's not muddy the comments up with CERN too much. Let's stick to the point here. Do you believe reality itself is devolving to make our lives busier? Back of the Amish classroom can't understand this. The people that believe that secret societies run everything and everybody's paid and threatened they don't go here. They can't see this. But that's what I'm going to take a break now. To the person, there's somebody that wrote me a comment. Matt, we can tell sometimes when you're breaking and you need to write a script. Somebody said this a video or two back. I need to write a script. So would it be better if I script out 1 or 2 videos a week so it's perfect? Or is it better to do 4 or 5 videos a week where sometimes I have to pause? Who's like I have a script writer here or something. Who's going to write the script? And how long it takes to write a script for a 40-minute video? Like that would just the person that proposed this video. Just Matt, you need a script. Like, oh yeah, no big deal. I'll just add 7 hours to my day. That's no big deal. Okay, whether you agree with me or think what I'm proposing is the craziest thing of all time, let's back up a little bit and see where we can find some consensus. I think everybody would agree with this. We all see how ridiculously patient, not all of us would actually, but most of us see how ridiculously patient they are in their implementations. If they want to move society from here to here and turn the Titanic. People that Matt, they're impatient. They work quarterly like Wall Street. No, not this group of creeps. They don't need quarterly. I say, well, if we can put the human being into this weird ass position towards the digital by 2070, that'll be pretty good. They're or 2170. They're patient in a inhuman way. I think everybody would agree. But you can see the incrementalism of, say, even something very basic like the shrinkflation. That's when you go to buy a box of something and it's the same price. We're holding prices for you, but the damn box is 10 or 15% smaller. We're getting to the point with shrinkflation that right now, I guess a pack of Bounty paper towels, easily about $25. You get the big pack at Walmart or Target. You'll go to get the Bounty paper towels. Remember, the old people like me remember Rosie the waitress pushing the quicker picker-upper. And for the cats, trust me, for cats that pee all over your house, it absolutely is an investment to get Bounty over the cheap-ass shit when you're putting 3 down to get a bunch of pee up. I'm not joking. These things are worth it. I'd pay triple for Bounty over the cheap shit when your cat pees all over the place. But the shrinkflation means it'll be $30, but there'll be 1 or 2 sheets before you get to the cardboard. It'll be just this gigantic center of cardboard. And this was $30 and there's only 2 damn sheets. Will the US dollar be around when that happens? I don't know, but it's amazing how far they can push this. But remember, we're talking about their patience, their inhuman patience, and ridiculously subtle incrementalism. The first one I noticed that's beyond subtle is how when you pick up say a 12-ounce can of Bud Light or of Coca-Cola or Coke Zero, it shakes a little bit. They're not quite putting or filling it to the top. Most of them shake a little bit. And that seems, if you're under 30, they've probably always done that. But I'll tell you, in the old days, maybe it was just 15 or 20 years ago, they were so tight. And some would say, Matt, it's ridiculous. It would only take a few drops extra to fill it up. They're not saving any money by that, or that's not the shrinkflation. It is. It absolutely is. They've probably even designed the can to a different degree, where it almost would take like a laboratory at Cambridge to determine it's not quite 12 ounces anymore, and it shakes a little bit. And it's all Matt, you can't relate a company's ability to withhold product, to hold prices, a shrinkflation, and incrementalism in terms of trying to move a human being into a state where it doesn't recognize itself. I think in some ways they are all related. But I'm just trying to point out to you that, if you don't believe or don't see what I'm proposing, that reality itself is slowly, just a little bit here and a little bit there, evolving on its own without anybody plotting it or planning it to make people busier, more distracted. So a computer, the batteries of a calculator take 20 minutes to change, when before, I'm saying this is some sort of symptom of reality itself. Okay, that's what I'm proposing, and I'm going to stick to that until some of the old guard come forth and say, Matt, you've now gone too far. Whenever I start to go into places like this, I get this knee-jerk reaction from a certain group of you, and I can hear you right now, and I have to say this every time. It's not all or none. If creeps are planning and plotting and constructing this or changing society over here and cultures evolving over here to make us more busy and more distracted and move farther away from our spiritual selves, there is still a lot of planning and plotting. The creeps are the implementers. The creeps are the blocking and tackling on the field and the running backs. That's the creeps' role. But what I'm talking about is not just the coaches, not just the ownership of the league, but what stands even behind that. It all works together to create busyness and distraction. Don't think for a second, if I'm focusing, I like to focus more on what reality itself potentially is doing. Don't think, and I don't think that then there's creeps doing the on the ground plotting and planning. It's not one or the other. I have to keep saying that. It's both. I spend more time at the edge of the 13th floor here looking at reality itself. I know the creeps are going to be creeps. I know at the Larry Silverstein level that there's going to be plotting and planning and screw people. I know all that. I know what they're going to do. I don't need to keep looking at those creeps. That's why I don't spend a lot of time on that bullshit. Back to the calculator. What I'm going to throw out now is either going to be the craziest shit of all time. People start throwing rubber duckies, the back of the Amish classroom, where everything is paid and threatened and plotted and planned by Larry Silversteins. They're going to start shooting spitballs. Okay. Or it's going to be like, wow, I didn't really consider that. Or some of the old guard can be like, yeah, stop apologizing, Matt. That's no big deal. So some of you might be saying, well, Matt, you gave a bad example. Okay, even if reality is devolving, a devolution into more busyness, tasks take longer. Okay, we got it. That calculator, that thing's got to be 25 years old. How long has it been sitting in your drawer? Yeah, they don't even make these old scientific types anymore. Maybe they probably do, but it was about probably 20 years old. Probably a Texas Instruments piece of shit if that company still exists. So Matt, your example's bad. I mean, this would have been made back when everything was made simple. Not if it's related to reality itself or a Mandela effect type thing. Okay, this is going to be the weirdest shit in the world to some of you. Others will be like, yeah, I can see that. See, if it's reality itself changing to make our lives busier, it's going to my opinion to work like a Mandela effect, and it will go it'll affect everything back through time. And somehow, who knows? We don't know the mechanisms. Even if you even can comprehend what I'm saying, and there's a 1% chance that I'm right, we're never going to know the mechanism of how the heck does this work, Matt? And is the Mandela effect a side effect of all this, or of the reality buttons, levers, or creepy magic, or whatever they do? If there's something that makes a certain task in life harder, where it's going to take you 20 minutes to replace batteries, then to me, per what I've observed about how this reality works, it's going to go back through time. It's going to potentially change the Texas Instruments piece of shit calculator. Where what I'm saying, guys, wouldn't put all my chips here. It's just an exercise in thinking big. Okay, relax. Stop throwing rubber duckies. And this guy's lost it. It's just an exercise in thinking around two corners at once. I'm saying it's possible when this thing was manufactured, the batteries could easily come in and out in 30 seconds. That's what, and Matt, so what the hell are you talking about? So now it's different from when it was manufactured, and now it's kind of morphed itself, so it takes 40 days and 40 nights to change batteries. That's exactly what I'm saying. It's exactly what I'm proposing. But again, I'm not crazy enough to say I know that for sure. I'm pushing all my chips on it. I'm just asking you to think big. If people that are Mandela affected, okay, then the change we see, it happens back through, even though the residuals exist, which is strange, the main part of the change happens back through all of history. It goes back through time, proving there is no such thing as linear time. That's just an illusion of the senses. I believe we live in a gigantic Mandela effect that is similar to my ship of fools sailing away on the river of insanity concept. The ship of fools sails. Reality itself changes for those on the ship of fools. They don't see any change. The only change is noticed by us standing on the bank. If you're on the ship of fools and on Monday you pee to stand up, on Tuesday you pee upside down, on Wednesday, they would say it's always been that way. Whatever change reflects backwards. So if there was a way for these creeps to pull reality buttons and levers to make every little bit of our lives busier, and this takes forever, or this takes 5 minutes longer, or complete incrementalism, we're going to put 1/2 of one drop less per year into a 12-ounce soda can, which is no longer 12 ounces, then I'm saying that type of reality manipulation will affect the old Texas Instruments calculator. What I'm saying is, what Gus is saying is it wouldn't matter when the calculator was manufactured. Okay, one last time, I realize how insane this sounds to some of you here. Again, I point out to those people, there's a whole other group here that's like, yeah, this is no big deal. And they've had certain paranormal experiences that make what I'm proposing here basically out like nothing. But whether I'm right or wrong, or I'm a little bit on the ballpark, or I'm kind of getting close to hitting the nail on the head, you can see how much more beneficial this thinking big exercise is than what we typically do in the truth community. A year ago, it was like email after email coming into Matt, which is me, and talking about myself in the third person. Matt, look, here's another video of a plane hitting. Look, Matt, here's another video of a plane hitting. Here, So I'm like, so what? Like, even if this is real, which it's not, they can fake anything since like 1968. But these videos were coming into me like, how about a week or two ago, the Georgia Flintstone dumbstone guide stones? Oh, Matt, here's what happened to the dumbstones. No, here's what happened to the Flintstones. No, it was hit by lightning. No, this happened to it. You see how you can just feel it? Real people can feel how pointless trying to see what the dumbstones happened to the Flintstones. You might not agree with me here, but you can understand at least this is a more beneficial exercise in thinking big and trying to get to the John Nash governing dynamics of how the reality works, which is only, again, useful if it tells you a little bit about yourself. Analyzing dumbstone, Flintstone, guidestones, and what happened, does that tell you about yourself? In fact, they were set up so we would focus on them. They feed it into the truth community so we would talk about them, and they blowed them up so we would talk about it. We fell for it the whole way. Almost everything in the truth community is an implanted waste of time.